weekly puzzle challenges. Let's do 3. And crazy thing is that only 25% of puzzles are actually solved correctly on the first try. I'm here to help you raise that number personally for yourself. So, King E2, white is up 3 points of material. The matchup is a rook to 2 pawns. So, I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to figure out the answer to this puzzle. 9, 8, 5, 3, 2, 1. If you didn't figure it out, go ahead and pause the video. Comment down below if you figured out the answer. So, the first move is knight d4. Now, let's figure out why. Well, first of all, knight d4, before anything else, wins the bishop. Even if it doesn't lead to checkmate, knight d4 wins the bishop. King moves, it doesn't actually matter where. There's no way to save this bishop. So that's the first thing. Knight d4 wins the bishop. But it wins a lot more than that. So now there are a few places where white can go. Say white goes king f1, then you have queen h3, which sacrifices the bishop. Now, the reason why we sacrifice the bishop in this position is because, first of all, the king is forced to take the bishop. There is nothing they can do about it. So, king takes bishop. Now we have the move queen f3 check. The king either has two moves. King e1 is checkmate immediately with queen e2. King g1 is checkmate immediately as well with knight e2. So the game is over quickly for white. If, say, in this position, white goes king d1, then the correct move is queen g4 because the king is forced to d2, after which king e2 is checkmate. So that's the puzzle number 1. Let's go to puzzle number 2. I'll give you another 10 seconds to figure it out. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so at first thought, this puzzle might seem extremely easy. You sacrifice the pawn by pushing, and you sacrifice the knight by pushing again, and you're like, well, it doesn't matter if I sacrifice the knight because I have a queen. That's wrong because your queen gets immediately taken. So, let's go back to the starting position. What other moves do we have? Well, we can go and chase the bishop, but that won't actually help us for a few reasons. Number one, because not immediately, but the pawn will promote, and the bishop can as well just move away anytime we start chasing it. It can move here to block the pawn from promotion. As well, you will lose your pawn. The correct move is to push the pawn to b5, forcing a win/trade of pawns. If the pawn takes, you can take back, and there is no possible way, it says over here already, white wins, because there is no possible way to stop that pawn from promotion. And if he doesn't take back, then you win even faster. Let's say he tries to attack your pawn, then you simply, either you could take the bishop, or you don't even have to worry about that, you could push. Say he defends the pawn, then you can simply bring your king, take his pawn, and he cannot do anything about it. So, puzzle number 3, I'll give you another 10 seconds. He just went knight c7, discovering attacking the queen. He thought he won the bishop from this move. Why didn't he? Checkmate is coming. Okay, so this puzzle, black is up 8 points of material. He is up a rook for a bishop, and a pawn. So he's up 8 points of material, but it doesn't matter. The game is completely over for him. The first and pretty much obvious move is queen takes h7 check. Queen takes h7 is not checkmate because the king, unlike sometimes when it is checkmate, because the rook is on f8, because that is where it is right after the king has castled. It is not the case this time because the rook has moved to allow the knight to attack our queen. This time the rook is not there, so the king does have an escape. Nevertheless, we have another piece that can check the king. Don't think it's the queen. That would be incorrect because the king escapes, and we will... First of all, he's threatening our queen, and we will not be able to checkmate the king. The correct piece to use to check the king is the bishop by going bishop c5. The king cannot move. G8 is blocked. E7 is blocked. So the rook must block. Takes. The rook must block. And this time we are not able to take with the bishop because his king will take back. So queen h8 checkmate. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to come back next week for another few weekly challenges, and I hope this helped. Comment down below if you got the puzzles right, and make sure to subscribe. See you next time.